So if anybody's asking in your feeds and chats, they look at their notifications. Me and Steve have been going back and forth over this, like the best way to get people in the know that this is happening. So people will find us by going to their notifications. We're doing the show every week. So I'm glad if you're tuning in now that you are joining us. I want to make sure that everybody that is watching and joining in live, make sure that you put down in the comments where you're watching from, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay. Be active in the comments. Part of the whole thing with being a master connector and connecting folks, and I know Steve will love to jump in on this, is being active in the comments for stuff so that people are seeing you and you're connecting and you're a real person. We're very excited about that. We got Patrick Moran checking in. He says that he loves this. Oscar C, he is checking in. Glad to have you guys. Thank you. This is our screen here. I'm going to show my screen as we count down to live. People are seeing you. All right. So we got a little reverb. Steve. Yep. All right. So, yep, you see that? You want to be on mute. Thank you, everybody. So we have a fabulous, fabulous show coming up for everybody as we get to the top of the hour. Patrick says he is checking in from Ski Country, New Hampshire. So if you're checking in live with us, joining in, please drop down where you are tuning in from. We love to know where all the people are tuning in from. Glad to see you here. All right, everybody.
Cameron, can you hear me okay? I'm going to do a test here, so just give me a...
Absolutely, Steve. We can hear you.
Can you hear me okay? Fine? All solid, good?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So that was the test. It worked. So got some stuff here. I want to just make sure I stay on task here. So cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and if anybody, whether it be on the panel or anyone else out there in Zoom, in LinkedIn land, he's got other people that are trying to get on this. There's no link as far as I could tell, although Cameron will be able to post the link later. But the way they can get on is they have to go onto LinkedIn, right into the notifications, is providing they're connected with me. They have the ability of just going to say Steve Spiro is live and then click that. And then they're right on viewing this. So obviously, if you're on LinkedIn, you're watching it, you know that. But anyone else who's got friends or colleagues trying to do that, that's how you have to do it. Just go to notifications, whether you're on your app or on your computer on LinkedIn, click Steve Spiro is live, and then boom, you'll be able to be right on and participate. And we love people, clapping, thumbs up. LinkedIn has algorithms, and I don't know how it all works, but they like when there's a lot of participation, like Cameron said. And I'm excited to be on with you guys. Cameron, it's always awesome sharing the stage with you here and having a great panel of experts here. It's exciting to have everyone with us. So welcome, everybody. Can't wait to kick this off shortly.
Beautiful. So we have a little bit more than 2 minutes before we go live at the top of the hour. Really digging. Folks checking in on the chats, please let us know where you're checking in from. Very exciting today. We have an exciting panel talking about the power of posting regularly. Going to be a lot of fun. Where is everybody that's on the panel from? Love to put that in. If you want to put in that in the private chat or post live on LinkedIn, you can do that, and I can copy and paste to our feed and put it up on the screen. All right. Kerry's from Pound Ridge, New York, very close to me. All right, guys. Yep, Denise is Hopewell Junction, New York. Marc's in Fairfield, Connecticut. All my Connecticut folks. Faith down in Astoria. I was just talking to somebody that's got a film studio in Queens today for me and Steve been talking about headshots and all that good stuff. Very cool. Steve's in Stamford.
You still need to connect with her,
Absolutely. Jonathan, where are you checking in from? Where are you viewing from? Mario, thanks for being here. He's from Mayo Pack. Thanks, Mario, for checking.
Mario the man. What's going on, Mario?
All right, so for anybody that's tuning in live, just so you know what we're doing today, it's the power of posting regularly. I know we're going to talk a lot about like tools, tips, and tricks, but I make these graphics with Canva, have a lot of fun. That's a great tool as we get into it. I'm sure other people will be sharing their fun stuff for posting regularly. All right, it's time. Steve, take it away. Introduce our panel, please.
Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody to the Master Connection series. I got my man right next to me here, not virtually next to me, Mr. Cameron Toth, host and social media extraordinaire. And I know he hosts BizDev Live every day at 11 o'clock, as well as he's got a networking event that happens on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time. Both times are Eastern Standard Time. So great resource, total reinventor of himself after pivoted after COVID hit. So, but we have a distinguished group of panelists, and I'm just going to give a little bit of background on each, very brief. And if I miss something, forgive me, guys. But we've got Marc Halpert, and he helps you get unstuck by achieving help you achieve your business and career goals with high energy LinkedIn coaching and training, and he does speaking. He's an author. He's an amazing man, so great resource. We've got Denise Panza, prides herself on providing attention and honesty and compassion to people she connects with. I know she's got a mortgage background and a real expert. She, of all people that post a lot, that is Denise for sure. So she's got a lot of wisdom I'm sure she's going to share with us. Kerry Flynn, Barret, calls herself the HR nurse. And she will help you fix your HR issues. So I'm sure if you get to meet with her directly, you'll get to hear more about that. But how to be attractive an employer as your organization grows. Okay, we have Faith Kinslow, and she's an award-winning copywriter, branding, and marketing consultant who's been in business for many years. We've got a little reverb, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, okay. So, and she helps maximize your sales, and she's been doing that for over 30 years with compelling marketing strategies. So we have Miss Helen Pesce. Known Helen for quite a while. It's probably been close to 15 or so years. She's a natural networker. I can tell you that's for sure. She brings value to her clients and connections by helping them solve problems. She's an entrepreneur and did a couple of fronts. She's got a residential real estate, as well as a transportation company. The founder of CTNY Limo Services. So great resource as well. So that's who we have today. Hope I didn't miss anybody, but it's going to be a blast. I'm excited to co-host with Cameron as we talk about the power of posting regularly and why. And I'll pass it back over to you, Cam.
Thank you very much. All right, so see if I can get my technical stuff here. I want to thank everybody for posting where they're checking in from. Christy Angeles, Linda Ray, I see you. Thank you for the shout out. Chris Januski Yonkers, checking in from Somerville, Mass. Jonathan Batista. Yeah, thank you everybody for participating in the chat. This is all a lot more fun when everybody is participating. I appreciate you all. We're going to get right into it and start sharing some really valuable content. So I want the panel to really just jump into why it is important to post regularly. If you can just kind of give me a short soundbite on the ROI, what it kind of does. I know there's be some repetition in this in terms of the answers, and I think that's valuable for listeners because I think multiple people talking and hitting on those points allows folks to really understand the importance and what that does and how it works for multiple people. So who wants to go first? Raise your hand and let me know. And who wants to jump in first? Marc's in there. He's in there. He's going in there.
I'm in there. Hey, everybody. Hi. I want to implore you, and I really mean implore you, to post often, multiple times a day. There is no best time to post. There is no best thing to post. You have to be memorable in what you post. And that means not just give a thumbs up like. That's lame. That's boring. That is not what we're here to do in social media. That means give comments and write your heart out. Write on other people's comments what you like, what you agree with. Professionally, if you disagree with it, you can say why, because this is a professional forum. Be professional, obviously. But find great material, curate material in your reading. Give your opinion on top of things. You're reading all day long. Your audience wants to know that you're a thought leader. And the only way you can show that you're a thought leader is if you put out thought there that other people aren't seeing. So find your favorite sources and give opinions on what other people are saying, or even better, give your own opinion and use your own original material. Now, I blog every business morning at 8 a.m. You can set your watch by it, of new material and new ideas that I'm thinking about. What's the ROI? Based upon my blogs, based upon what I put out on LinkedIn, I have more than tripled my number of followers. I have over 16,000 followers in a year. You can do this too. I don't need to be connected to all of them. All they want to know is what I'm thinking. And so it's a really great way to have an effect on a lot of people, so that when somebody needs to remember you, since they see you multiple times a day, you ping on what I call their mental memory radar.
All right. So when we go through this, we want to get some nods and stuff and going on. I know Steve wants to jump in, and then guys, use the private chat behind the scenes. Let me know, because there's a lot of folks on here to manage. So let me know who wants to jump in so I can pull in next. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. So listen, great stuff, Marc, and Marc is definitely an expert in this category for sure. So listen, if you're going to grow a network, and a lot of people ask the question, so you grow a network, people want to kind of keep their network small. It's hard to manage. If you're going to use LinkedIn as just a way to kind of, just as a resume place to post your resume, or just, for a little bit of networking, don't listen to what I'm saying. But if you want to really grow and really create a personal brand, posting regularly is important. What does it do? It helps people understand who and what you're about. I reach out a lot, and I think the reason that people actually respond is because they know who I am. Now, we may not have talked yet, but the fact is that they're seeing me regularly. They see my personality. They see what I'm about. Now there's a reason, and they have a value to wanting to connect with me. And so on the call here, I know Denise. I reached out because you see her a lot. She's got a lot of great content, and I could probably speak about all the folks here because you're reaching out. You're reaching out by posting regularly. There's really a reason and a desire that people want to post. And like Marc said, you need to make sure it's content that people care about, that they're interested in, not just something you're not trying to sell. But posting regularly is crucial if you want to increase your network and grow your personal brand.
Kerry, jump in here. Go ahead.
Sure. So I, think about posting regularly for those people who are looking for a job, because honestly, what happens is, like Steve said, you can't just post your resume and think that people are going to connect with you. People need to know you, and they need to know what it is that you're thinking about. They also want to know what you're backing, what your thoughts are that you're backing. So take out those common things that people are talking about. What are the things, without getting too controversial, but to reach out there to others and ask for it. So when an employer is actually looking for you, they're going to look at your LinkedIn posting and see what you're about, way more than just what your resume shows. So I think that's very, very important for those of the listeners who are watching this in terms of their job search. So thank you so much, guys.
All right. Helen, jump in here. Go ahead.
Especially on LinkedIn, isn't there many times you see people over and over again and you're like, oh, wow, I really need to do that too. Those people, you could probably think about 5 of them in your head right now that you see all the time posting on LinkedIn with all their information. And you think about them often. Why? Because you see them. You see them on LinkedIn. You probably see them on Facebook or Instagram. You see them posting on a daily basis. And that's why it's important for brand recognition, for recognition for yourself, your company, that it will stay on people's minds all about you. So that's why it's important, because it's a top of mind process. You're giving great information and people will remember that.
Helen, I think that's such an amazing answer. I think because as we build our brand, right, everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to have a little bit more authority and respect. And that's the name of the game, right? Capturing the eyeballs. I think people get so sensitive about posting. I saw something from a really avid social media guy, and he said, post regularly. I posted the same thing twice. I got 15,000 likes. He's a big guy, gets a lot of likes, but 15,000 likes on the first post and 5,000 on the second of the same post. So not being afraid to kind of repeat that content. You don't have to always have the freshest, newest thing. Faith, you ready to jump in here? She's right. I see the glasses going on. Serious mentality, ready to go.
Yep. Had to unmute myself. Yes. Well, if you post regularly on LinkedIn, what it does, if you provide valuable content, it demonstrates your expertise. And once you demonstrate your expertise to business owners, it will increase your visibility because other people will start reading about you. And I only started posting regularly in May. And it's amazing what has happened since then. Not everybody who reads your posts likes it or comments. And I was shocked when people that I never knew finally said something and said, I love your posts. I love reading them. And they're people that may have been lurking for the last few months reading my post. I didn't know that. And in fact, last week, I was really surprised. I have a course, Brand to Sell, that teaches business owners branding. And last week, somebody bought my course. Usually it's just people that I know. I look it up. This is a woman in the UK. I never heard of her. So she must be reading my posts, but I never even knew it because she never posts. So I encourage you, if you have an expertise, share it. People are very interested in it. And as I said, I really commenced doing this more regularly 5 or 6 months ago. And that's why I think I'm even on this show. I think somehow, people noticed me just because of that.
I love that, right? We're going to get more opportunities from these posts. Anybody else want to jump in before I move on to the next question? Go ahead, Sheri.
For me, it is all about engagement. It is not for me about numbers. It is truly just about impact and making a difference. I am on LinkedIn every single day. I have been a social poster for 10 years. But on LinkedIn, once it switched up to this little bit more of a casual platform, for me, it became much more fun. So my original branding was kind of the street smart teacher thing, but it has evolved huge on LinkedIn too. Some of my posts, again, I'm not big about the numbers, but they could be 80,000 or something. The bigger part to me is the engagement. So it is, I have developed a relationship with these people that they expect me to help them raise a son every day. So that's a lot of where my commitment is to everyday posting, is that as early as I can in the morning, I'm there because they're looking for me. And it has nothing to do with me, my ego. It has to do with we are a community and we're lifting each other up and we're changing the world and we're making differences. And I think that's the part of asking yourself, what's your why about posting? And so for me, it's incredibly authentic. It's incredibly heart-centered. It's really the creative fun of it. And mine is like wild ranging and all over the place and whatever. And half of it is people going, we don't know what she's going to do next. It's fun for everybody. So it doesn't always, and I am seen as, an intelligent person on LinkedIn. However, a lot of it can also be, what is the thing that gets people to engage and makes a difference? Because if you're putting content out there just for content, it does no good. It does absolutely no good. So mine is the, is it something of value that it's what you would like to say? And I'm not geared at all to likes or numbers. It's really about what difference did I make? And so my ROI is huge, both in the financial, but more importantly, the life impact piece.
Sorry about that. So here we go. So we're going to get into the next question. We're going to talk about tips, tricks, tools, but I want to talk about what to post first, and then we'll kind of get into like how what you guys are using. I know probably everybody's using a little bit different in terms of like visual design and how you create it. Also tools for, Hootsuite and different things to actually automate the process. I want to get into all that. I know Marc wants to jump in about hashtags, so I'll let him go first in terms of talking about what to post. And I think there's two ends of this in terms of like what goes into a post from a creative perspective, but also from content in terms of the writing and the focus of what that's geared to in terms of your overall purpose, but also different objectives, right? If I'm somebody looking for a job, I'm posting maybe one type of content. If I'm looking to be a thought leader, I'm looking to post another type of content. If I'm looking to sell a service or a product, that's another kinds of content. So I'd love for all my panelists to sort of think about all those different things. For everybody that's watching, the more specific your question for your specific need, the more the panel can attack that and really deliver some value. And I guarantee you, if you ask that question, somebody else has that question but is too afraid to ask it. So get in here and really get the value out of this. We really appreciate you. All right, Marc, jump in here.
Okay, hi. Let's talk about where you get your great material, and everybody's got their favorite place. One of the first places I look every single morning is Inc.com, and then Entrepreneur.com, or vice versa. And there's always something there that is of value to everybody, especially in the pandemic. There's so much good material there about how to address this challenge that we're all enduring. I don't only post about LinkedIn. I could post all day and every day about LinkedIn. And even my blog, which is a LinkedIn blog, is not always about LinkedIn because there's more to life. I like to post things that people are not normally reading. Now that I've told you where my sources are, I'll tell you there are other sources out there as well. And I love Flipboard. Flipboard is a monster. It captures so much great material, and all you have to do is tell it what subjects you want it to capture, and you can read globally in a few moments about topics you're interested in. So I get a lot of great material.
Here, Marc, sorry to interrupt, but you're talking about places to gather content for your posts?
Well, it's things that I read that helps me think through the things I want to say. Often I'll put just my thoughts on top of someone else's article, because I can't say it as well as a professional writer can say it, and they have their own perspective as well. I'll put my perspective on top of their perspective, and then people are seeing maybe two different aspects of what's going on here. So there's so much great material out there. We can't all possibly read everything that's available. So a lot of my followers wait for me to curate for them some material for them.
So from a tactical perspective, you're talking about sharing and adding some comments in there. Is that right?
Yeah. And that also formulates a lot of the basis of my own original thoughts that I put on LinkedIn on a regular basis. It's all about where you find it.
Denise, can you jump in here? Steve says you're the one to go to for this.
Great. So my material comes from nothing else other than myself just sitting at my desk all day, originating loans because I'm a mortgage banker. So it just comes from I'm doing a loan for someone and, they're closing maybe on Monday and they decide to go buy a car yesterday. And then I just share that with people, right? I just think that it's helpful information. Maybe that, you shouldn't buy a car when you're about to, close on a house the next day. So and I'll just tell you really quick, I started posting probably 2 years ago, and it took a good year for it to actually finally pay off and, for me to actually write business from it. So I think I originally started doing it on Facebook, and it was just because I sit in my office. I work from home. I've worked from home for 17 years. So it's just a flight of stairs is my commute, and I sit at my desk all day long. So I think for my sanity, I just started coming onto LinkedIn to make some professional friends. And then here I am.
Beautiful. And so I'm really looking for here in terms of what people are posting, right? So what are we having success with posting? I'll speak just to sort of add a little bit of value and context to the situation. I follow Fanny Dunnigan, who is amazing. I just recently interviewed her for BizDev Live, and she taught me in terms of laying out a post, ask a yes or no question, right? Is LinkedIn effective for you, right? You're either going to say yes or no, but it's a short question, easy to read. You can have some information, some facts down below that. You can have some hashtags. I know Marc is jumping at the bait to talk about that at some point, but hashtags help people find the content, and then some piece of creative, a video, a photo that's interesting to look at. I post that up, and then I tag a bunch of people in the first comment. I ask a whole bunch of people, hey, would you comment or share this? And then on LinkedIn, you can actually go up to the top of that post, get a link to that, and email it out to friends to have friends or colleagues comment on that. And that feeds into the algorithm. I'm going to let Steve talk a little bit about the algorithm, because once people start, commenting and liking, then LinkedIn feeds it to your second and third contacts, and it really blows up your content that way. Go ahead, Steve. So on mute. Steve, you good? No. All right. Anybody else want to jump in? Thanks, Sheri. I appreciate you saving me here.
Denise, so I am highly creative. Mine come just intuitively from what I'm doing. However, the number one word I'd have for everybody is relevant. Like if you, particularly right now, if you can do things that are relevant, they will get much better engagement and feedback. Tons of mine come from real conversations. So I have developed this reputation where tons of people at all different stages, ages, industries talk with me on the backside. And so that's where a lot of mine, where other people are using sources and things like that, mine are from, much like Denise, in terms of a real life situation or setting and what needs to be said. And my style is more going for what's a little thought provoking rather than the yes or no question. And mine is the plant the seed about something. I'm not going to boss or tell you what to do, but I'm going to present a different voice and something that looks very different on LinkedIn. And so that's just been my random style. And I go opposite of what's the traditional function of what you're supposed to do. And that is okay, is my point.
I think one of the best things about social media in general is if you're doing exactly the same thing that everybody else is doing, you're not going to stand out. So I think that's a great message, Sheri. All right. Kerry's going to jump in here. Go ahead, Kerry.
Sure. So I'm going to piggyback on what Sheri said about relevance. So if somebody, again, is looking for a job, look for those articles that are relevant to the industry that you're looking in. So for example, if you're looking in manufacturing, go to whatever articles and whatever publications are the publications that matter in that industry. If you're going to healthcare, you're going into those healthcare industry specific type of articles. Post those and then you're going to comment on them, and it tells way more about you as a candidate and your interest in the particular topics within the industry. So relevance is very, very important.
Yeah, I love that message. I think it's so important if you want to really make a difference and get some engagement and inspire people. That relevance thing is huge. All right. Steve is ready. Steve is ready to launch. Here we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I had somebody in my network who was trying to figure out how to get on, and hopefully,
well, we're whoever it is, we're glad they're here.
Yeah, and so I got off screen, and then it was hard to get back to screen. So sorry, but a lot of great content. I mean, a lot of great, and I agree, relevance is super important. You gotta find your voice, right? You gotta find what works for you, right? And I'm similar, I think, to Denise in the sense that, I just talk about what's inside of me, right? What's in my heart, and I, sort of a topic bubbles up for me and I just share about it. And I do it in one take typically, although today's take, I did a few takes, but only because I was sort of stumbling. But oh, there she is. There, she was on last time, so I'm surprised she had a tough time getting on again. But anyway, yeah. So it's important to be relevant. So I talk about what's relevant for me, which is connecting and different kinds of ways to communicate and connect with people, right? But back to relevance and not relevance, back to the algorithms that Cameron, you were talking about. And there's lots of different ones. I'm just going to speak about this one. I don't know how I learned this stuff. I just learned kind of through goings and comings and probably learning from the experts on this call. But what I've been told, and I understand is valid, is when you're posting, you don't want to post a hyperlink from some other medium, right? So if it is a picture, they want it native in LinkedIn. So take a screenshot of that picture and post it directly. Don't take a link of wherever you found it and use that. If it's a video, make sure it's a video that you shot and you're posting it directly. They don't like when you post do a YouTube video and then bring the link, because they don't want you going out of LinkedIn. They want you to stay here in this platform. So they reward you with extra whatever. Apparently, the algorithms. Again, I'm not a scientist. I don't understand all this stuff. I was on with somebody recently who said they got locked out of LinkedIn because they inadvertently broke the code. I'll never have a shot at that in any time soon. Breaking the code, but basically, yeah. So just put it as native. Hopefully that makes sense to you folks when you're posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. I just threw that up on the screen because I think it's so important. It's not that you can't post YouTube links and all this other stuff, but just know that LinkedIn likes LinkedIn. LinkedIn really prefers people to stay on LinkedIn. Sheri says relevance is also about not being tone deaf regarding what is going on. I think of a great instance of this because we're talking about lots of different media and stuff. So the Macy's parade just went on, and I don't want to get down the rabbit hole of what that production and thing was. Suffice it to say, it was not fantastic, and they just weren't being tone alert in terms of the content that they were representing. They didn't do the research right, and that's really important. If you want to come across as intelligent, you got to do your homework. All right, Kara McCarthy has our first question of the day. I really encourage everybody that's watching. I see at least 20 people watching live on LinkedIn. Guys, ask some questions. We'll really try to dig down and get some real valuable content for you. So right now, she uses Alignable. So anybody that's been on Alignable, please in the private chat, just raise your hand here and we'll get some experiential information on this. Right now, I use Alignable with great success for the small business market. For anybody that's not in the know, Alignable is another social network, very different from Facebook or LinkedIn, very much focused towards the small business market and very cool for connecting. I use LinkedIn occasionally, but will step up my game after all these inspirational ideas. It's Cara with Welcome Wagon. We are more relevant now than ever with America on the move. All right, thanks for that. So Cara squeezing in a little advertisement with her question. Guys, this is the opportunity. This is the way you post, right? Guys, talk to me about something like Alignable and what you're doing on some of the other social media platforms. Who wants to jump in? I'll let people kind of just raise their hand. Kerry, do you want to talk about why?
Sure. I can certainly talk. So I use a number of different social media sites. I use Facebook, I use Instagram, and I use Twitter along with LinkedIn. I happen to love LinkedIn the best because I'm reaching a professional group there. Both there and Twitter, I can guarantee a little bit more of the professional content as opposed to a Facebook and the followers on Facebook. Instagram is great, but you've got to make your messages short. Because the people just scroll through the Instagram so quickly. And it is much harder for somebody to really boast about themselves a bit on Instagram if you're looking for a job. So I would really suggest people using LinkedIn way more for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, one of the things that's so interesting, because I think there's so many different views on this, and this is the value of a panel like this. There's lots of different ways. I know somebody that posts long form content in Instagram, has a lot of followers, and finds, because there's not a like Twitter limit on things. So they post kind of articles underneath their Instagram things. Now, a lot of people aren't going to see them because that's not the way most people use Instagram. But if people are drilling down and they're true fans of your content, and it's a great way to inspire engagement to have some posts on there. Maybe not the way to start out on Instagram, but once you get a following, it could be a way to lead in. And I think it's a really interesting thing that there's so many different ways to do social media. And that's what we're talking about today. Who wants to talk about some tips and tricks and tools for getting content up on these platforms? Who's in here? Marc says, all right, Faith, go ahead.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Thank you. So what I do is since I'm a marketing writer, everything comes from my head, so I don't go to other sources for what I write. But I know from my experience in the marketing world that you have to get somebody's attention. So I started creating ads, like ads for, instead of a photo, I created ads for myself, and I write headlines for them because that's what I can do. And I try to make it arresting, and I put myself in it because I know that people like to look at real human beings. So I will sometimes, have like what looks like an ad, and then I can write a post about it where I provide content. The other thing I do is I never wanted to have myself on video, but I felt that I had to. So what I do very simple videos. What I do is I go onto Zoom and I record it, and I'll put a short video on LinkedIn. And then, of course, I use every single character, which is, I think, 1,300 characters on LinkedIn, on a LinkedIn post. And then I just flush it out and provide some valuable tips. And I use Canva to create my ads, and it's very easy. I mean, it's a lifesaver. I just think you can do amazing things, and you don't have to know a lot about technology. So I recommend using it.
Yeah, no, I am a big fan of Canva. I didn't know about Canva pre-pandemic. I started the show, got into using Canva, and it has just been amazing. Almost all of the graphics that you're seeing on the screen today in one way or form or shape or other were created by Canva. Go ahead, Helen.
I agree. Canva is awesome. I love Canva. I use it all the time for many different reasons. If you could do 2 platforms for social media and do it well, that's great. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Yelp, Google Your Business. You have to have that, leverage that, LinkedIn.
Hold up. Talk about Google My Business for a minute, because a lot of people probably think, okay, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. All right, now they're throwing another thing at me, but Google My Business is a whole different beast. For those who know, you know. For those who don't know, you need to know. Go ahead, Helen.
Well, if you want to be on Google My Business, go on the site, look up your business. If it's not there, or if it's there, you need to claim your business, totally claim your business, and you're going to pimp out that page. It has a lot of features. You can even do a little website on there. You can do ads. You could load up all the pictures. You need to be on Google Your Business, because Google is, is it number one search engine? And you need to really look that up today. And you do Google ads. It's definitely, you have to be in that space today, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Before Marc jumps in here, I'll just say Google is where it's at, and a lot of the stuff that you're doing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever you're doing social media, it's all a game to be at the top of Google. And when you think about the future, and we have all these devices, the next thing that's going to come out is, everybody's going to be talking into their Amazon, device or their Apple device, and they're going to speak and they're going to say, hey, I want pizza, or they're going to say, I want Helen's pizza. You're going to make the choice in terms of your marketing, your posts, whether somebody really identifies that thing with you, so that they're saying the name of your business versus the general name of that product, and then getting whatever paid product is paid to be the one that Amazon or Apple recommends. So that's a really big deal. Go ahead, Marc.
Okay, I'll be the first to admit that I am not a one-trick pony. I do other social media, but I rely on LinkedIn to speak to my audience. My audience is business professionals, and that's the audience I speak to well on LinkedIn. So I do speak to business professionals on my company Facebook page, and I do speak to business professionals on my Twitter handle, but I have a completely different audience in all three places. I just want to make a note to everybody to Google themselves. And if your LinkedIn profile is at least halfway decent, your LinkedIn URL is going to be towards the top, if not the very top, on the Google search results. And I want to just...
Marc, I got to stop. You can't tell people that are watching to go Google themselves, all right?
Well, after this is over.
After they can.
All right. I'm sorry. Please don't leave. I'm talking. Don't leave. Okay? The other thing is I want to talk about hashtags. And this is a wonderful tool. Just like hashtags on Twitter, we have hashtags on LinkedIn. There are millions of hashtags there. The place you find the hashtags that LinkedIn has arbitrarily, artificial intelligently provided them to you is on your homepage on the far left bottom corner. They're not necessarily going to be good hashtags for you. Your job is to make the right hashtags for you and for other people to find you. And the beauty of hashtags on LinkedIn is when you add them on your posts, at the end of your posts, and folks add 6 to 10 hashtags for every post, the LinkedIn nerds who are amongst my LinkedIn fellow coaches are saying 6 to 10 is the number right now. It had been 5, it had been 4, it had been 12. It jumps around. Just like everything in the algorithm is changing all the time, and it just changed dramatically before Thanksgiving. Right now, the thought is 6 to 10 hashtags. You can see what other people you are following are using for their hashtags and emulate those hashtags, or you can make up your own hashtag. And Faith knows this. I've made up my own personal hashtag so I can gain more eyes on what I'm doing. And my hashtag is hashtag Marc, M-A-R-C, rocks LinkedIn. Hashtag Marc rocks LinkedIn. And I use it all the time.
So we're gonna test this out. So guys,
everybody follow my hashtag. That's the deal here, folks. And that's what you're trying to do. Faith, I think you've got one, right? Nod. I'm taking over, Cameron. I'm sorry.
No worries. All right, Steve's gonna jump in here.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys are really sophisticated, and I keep things simple. I'm just a simple guy, maybe a simpleton, if you will. To me, there's no. I don't look for for special tricks or things. To me, it's a consistency. You pick a few things. I like that. When I was trained in the martial arts, my signature weapon was my reverse punch. That's it. And everyone knew it was coming, and no matter what, they couldn't block it. It was always coming. And I'm a simple guy. I like to keep it simple. So yeah, I am a one-trick pony. I am I'm rely on LinkedIn because that works for me. And I do a few things. I mean, some of the things that I'm doing is videos weekly. I mean, this is a new tool for the toolbox, doing LinkedIn Live with Cam. But and then you continually to connect with people, right? Connecting with people, and then requesting that we jump on a phone call. Because to me, this is, I loved what Sheri said. This is a community. This is not just a place to, I don't know, whatever, not just to grow numbers. I agree with that. We're building a community, a global community here. And so to me, it's connecting and communicating with people. So it's a few things, right? It's posting regularly. I like to do videos. I think Cam, you posted a little comment of, typed it out where, LinkedIn prefers video over pictures, right? Over words. I think is in addition to that, people prefer videos over pictures, over words, right? We're moving into a TikTok society where now it's what I don't remember. I don't know the minutes. What it's like less than 2 minutes, and they want to see a video in less than 2 minutes or whatever. I'm working on that. And Denise, I know you're working on that too, right? But but so it's just doing a few things consistently. That's my message for you guys, consistently, because there's a lot of people I'm sure viewing here that they're hearing all these great tips. They're awesome, but they're totally short-circuiting their brain, like mine tends to get short-circuited. So keep it simple, do a few things, do it consistently, and you'll slowly build from there. That's my 2 cents. Can't hear you, Cam.
Sorry, guys. Mike McAllen, so pushing too many buttons here, trying to make sure that the sound isn't carrying through. Mike McAllen is why I interviewed him, and that idea of consistency. So Joe Rogan is the most popular podcast in the world, and for many people, you probably think, "Oh, wow, he's this guy. He was on TV. He must have started that last year," and he started in 2009, right? So if you think about you can be the most popular in the world, 11 years from now, if you got that long-term consistency and know that if you're consistent, you can really make great gains. I don't know if you're going to be the most popular in the world. It's a hard thing to strive for, but you can certainly get a lot closer to where you want to be. I want to let Denise jump in here. Go ahead, Denise.
So I'll just say my 3 tips on, my tip for having success on LinkedIn is people want to deal with people that they like, they know, and they trust, right? So I feel, and my videos I like to include all 3 of those. So I want them to like me, right? Everyone wants to be liked. So I like to think I'm somewhat funny sometimes. So I'm funny. I'm probably not the most professional one on LinkedIn, but that is not who I am, right? So if I was that person, my friends would be like, who are you? So to keep true to yourself, if that's who you are, then just be goofy. Sometimes most of my videos in the very beginning were in front of my refrigerator. Now I wing it. I sit wherever I am. I just park my ASS and I do the video. There's nothing, fancy about it. And people want to deal with people that they know, right? So I want them to know me. I hope they want to know me. I want them to know my kids. So I know some people are probably apprehensive about posting personal pictures, and that's fine. For me, that is a part of my life. That is a part of who Denise, last name Panza, is. So for me, it's important to post them. Or if I'm, traveling somewhere, I might, throw that in the mix. But I think it's important that they know, because if they choose me to be their loan officer at the end of the day, which is, that's just the icing on the cake. But if they choose to work with me at some point, anyone can come on here and just talk about my rates are so great. I'm the best loan officer. My company is so great. But who are you? And that's where I think you just sometimes have to step out of your comfort zone, like I'm doing right now, because this is my first live ever in my life, 50 years old, and I'm doing my first live. But I think that's what's important. You just have to be organic, have fun with it, and just be true to yourself.
I think that's so important. I am really impressed with the vulnerability. I got on to YouTube and started doing Facebook Live, getting inspired by people. I want the folks that are watching this now to understand, for so many people, and especially with the whole world moving virtual, even before video, we knew it was important. It's more important now to get comfortable with these tools. Don't be afraid of it. You can be horrible at social media. If you're consistent, it'll work out for you. You'll find your tribe. They will find you, and you'll meet. But that consistency is really key. I want to talk about this just for context for the audience. For Toth Event Staffing. So I have a staffing business founded in 2011, Toth Event Staffing. So as a business, I would post images of the process of our staff, of our team. So for people are like, well, what do I put out there? I don't want to necessarily be on camera. You don't have to be on camera. And I encourage people to check out TikTok, because you can see on TikTok, by searching your business, your product, your service, how people are in so many different ways, on camera and off, screenshotting and doing so many different things to showcase their product or service. There's so many ways to display your product and service. And one of the beautiful things about social media, and best time ever, no matter what you think, 1980, think about the fact that we didn't have Zoom in 1918, right? When the Spanish flu was going on. We can do work in a way that we couldn't do it before. So even with the challenges, you have this thing in your hand that can connect with the world. So there's lots of ways to share your service or business, right? One. And then two, you have this amazing array of content and people just showing you the way, going through their house and showing you how they're doing e-commerce in their house. You can go on TikTok and see people how they're putting their sticker business together and their ebook business together and how to get on these type of services. And they'll go down, they've literally written it out for you, and they're all competing to show that content and that value in the best way. It's all there and available for you if you want it. I want to make sure, Helen, are we good to go?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I wanted to touch on what was said before about reaching your market. Yes, use all different platforms. Like we said about LinkedIn, your professional platform. Facebook is maybe another market you're trying to reach, or an Instagram or Twitter. You can use them all for different, reaching different types of people for your business. I wanted to talk about Animoto. Does anyone use Animoto? I use it to make short videos.
Anybody else use Animoto from the crowd? So this is great. So Helen, this is your space. You're giving the tools. Everybody's writing this down now, and I love these things, right? Because if you didn't know about Canva before, you need to know, right? So you're right. Folks that are watching. So now down Animoto. Here we go.
Animoto. Write it down. Look it up. It's a great tool to, like I said, make short videos, marketing videos for your business. You can use it for your business, for your whatever, organizations you're, involved with, whatever kind of marketing you want to do. It's really great. You have to check it out. Steve, you don't use it, Animoto?
Helen.
No.
Helen.
Whoa.
You have to be amazingly talented and technical to use Animoto?
No.
Does it cost anything to use Animoto?
It's free. I did upgrade. I forget what I pay a year, but it's not that much.
So it's got the freemium business model. Folks, you can use this model in your business, right? Get in there, use some of it. Canva also, so many free tools. I use the paid version. I use it every single day. Chris Januski says, I think of two of the things I struggle most with are finding time to make content while running a business and making creative content that others would want to read and see. I know it's a broad topic. Any tips? All right. I'm going to let Denise jump in here and then Marc.
I'm just going to say, if you have kids, like throw your kids into the mix. I know that sounds crazy, but I have a daughter, Gianna, she's 16. So I now do TikTok, and I do post my TikTok to LinkedIn. I do. And because if anybody watches Gary Vee, he's a big proponent on it. And I'll tell you, it works. So I would just have fun, be creative. Go on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok, there's so many great ideas that you can find on TikTok that are appropriate for LinkedIn.
I love that. And I'm a big fan of Gary Vee and TikTok. I got my daughter creating content for me over the summer. I wish she was available all the time, but she's got to do this school thing. Go ahead, Marc.
I think the best thing to do is to find time when you're freshest and least hassled. I'm down in my office at about 5:30 every morning writing. That's my time. Phone's not ringing. There's nobody knows that I'm in my office writing. Now you all do, but nobody bothers me. And that's the time when I'm freshest. And that's when I'm out there scouring around for great material and thinking about putting pieces of thoughts together. I also used to say in the old days when we used to travel and go around and go away for a day or something like that, in between appointments, I used to find time to engage on LinkedIn. If I got to an appointment early, or if I was on the train going in and out of New York City, I was using LinkedIn. Now we don't do that anymore. Seemingly there should be more time for us time. If someone else is using up your time, and I get it if you're an executive or if you're in a busy office and it's just not quite as capable for you to have some quiet time, get some quiet time. Get into social media, be social that way, be engaging and engage with others when you can.
Yeah, I love it. Go ahead, Steve.
Absolutely. Yeah, good point, Marc. And I have very little quiet time. So here's what I will recommend to you, Chris. And Chris, you and I spoke today, so it's cool to see you on here. And hey, Austin, good to see you as well. For me, I've picked up on a lot of the folks on this call here. Denise, I know, is doing this also, but it's just about stories, telling stories. I mean, if you're in any kind of service business, you've probably got some kind of story on how you've helped a client, right? Or maybe it's a story of something that's happened to you in your life. You just tell stories. People love stories. They relate to stories. They remember stories. I learned this years ago that, our memory, right? What resonates, what gets into our subconscious brain and stays more permanent is when there's a message that's attached with a feeling. Well, if a story, that has, there's emotions that's generated in it, it's gonna really resonate. It's gonna stay with somebody. So, Chris, I think you're in the P&C insurance business, right? There's got to be stories you could tell without, affecting anyone's confidentiality, regularly that you could talk about, and not to sell your stuff, but how you've helped somebody. This is my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Helen.
We're all busy, single. A lot of us are single entrepreneurs, don't have time, and Chris, maybe to continually add content or post. You can use like internships.com to get somebody, or what is it? It's a Fiverr or Fiverr?
Fiverr.
Yeah, Fiverr.
Yeah, and I'll chime in on this. So if you watch Biz Dev Live, right? I just want to chime in this because this is important because I know you mentioned it. Fiverr.com. If you watch Biz Dev Live, the beginning, there's this cool hip hop song. I paid $50, right? $50 for this cool hip hop song that plays in this video. You can create your own theme song. It's $50 away. I want to repeat that for anybody. Like, it is so easy to be a beast on any media platform. You can create content. These platforms are so easy. It's really easier than you think it is. Go ahead, Helen. Sorry.
Just to relinquish control of certain things to work in your business, you have to give some of that work outside to other people. So I know it's costly, so low cost. You could do things like Fiverr, like I said, internship.com, reach out to your local college or high school for students that are looking for internship credits. So those are my tips for that.
I love that. All right, guys, I want to kind of get into the final round here. We're about 8 minutes from the top of the hour. So I want to go around the room and just kind of get everybody's like best tip for folks. We got some great folks in. So I just want to shout out some folks. Angie Legg, thanks for your comments. Mahena, thanks for your comment. I love this. One way to stay engaged. One way to stay engaged is to post about a network Zoom call and mention the participants. This will create more exposure. I've been connecting face to face with people. I really encourage people, take the social media, create the connection, set up the one-on-one, get each other's stories, common backgrounds, that master networks thing. Steve and I are in that, Kerry's in that, that idea of creating that connection, because social media is great, but that connection, that relationship marketing, it talks to all the things that we've been talking about. When we are able to engage people and be relevant, it allows us to really broadcast and get a message across. Alyssa, thanks for checking in. Austin, thanks for checking in. We have to stop telling ourselves we don't have time as well. It's an excuse. I know our time is limited, but saying we don't have any needs to change. And I love that point, Angie. And I'll say this for anybody that's like trying to schedule their event and they're saying, people don't have the time. It's really hard. It costs too much. People make time for the things they make a priority. Mm-hmm. So if you're posting regularly and you're somebody that people are saying, wow, that person's really important, you are going to be more of a priority than somebody that is not. And that's the whole point here. All right. So I'm going to go around the room. I'm just going to kind of go in order of the screen. So we'll go Faith, Kerry, Denise, Marc, Steve, Sheri, and Helen will close it out for us. So I just want everybody to sort of give us briefly kind of what you think the best kind of thing for people to do now, having seen this show, knowing how important it is to post regularly. How would you encourage people to really interact, engage, and create connections to improve their businesses off of this? Go ahead, Faith.
Okay, so depending on what your profession is or your interest is, I just wrote this down now because I saw this question was coming. To get engagement, what you can do is you can speak about something that happened to you, and you could say, what is your experience with this? Or can you share an issue that you had with this and how you solved it? You know, that's a good way to both share and actually call some response out from somebody. So I wouldn't ask a yes or no question. I would ask something that somebody can actually put some thought into, because that is more engaging for them and the other people who read. So that's one idea.
Beautiful. Kerry, jump in here.
Sure. So one of the things everyone has been talking about is not having enough time. Well, to your point, nobody has the time, right? So engaging others and helping you. I went into my own business just a year ago. I had worked corporate. So for me, I really didn't know how to do this. So who did I go to? My teenagers, and they helped me. And then I just kept learning and taking it from there. So don't automatically think you can't do it. Go to sources to help you. The others had some great suggestions on this topic. And, you know, honestly, you can do it. You really can. And just keep dipping your toe in and keep trying.
Beautiful.
You've got it.
All right, Denise, jump in here.
So this is a great tip. So posting is one thing, videos takes you to another level. I mean, I can't tell you what happened once I started doing videos, but I think what I do is I name my videos. So it's Mortgage Tip Tuesday, right? So it makes me accountable for Tuesdays. I need to be on there to talk about Mortgage Tip Tuesday. Wednesday is Wind Down Wednesday, and I do drink wine on LinkedIn, and I talk about, you know, whatever it is I'm talking about. And then the final one is
Denise, it worked for Gary V.
That's true. It did. Yeah, so I'm telling you, when you name your day or you name your little video, it makes it so much easier to step onto the camera and do it. The third one I do is just car talk time with Panza. So I'm just, you know, when I realize that maybe I missed Mortgage Tip Tuesday, or I missed Wind Down Wednesday, which is very rare, I'll do car talk time. So I'm just in my car driving wherever, pull over, and just boom, something hits my mind and I just talk about it. And you'd be surprised that some of those last minute ones can be, they can be some of your best stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. All right, Marc, jump on.
Denise, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we all have to have a day when we're accountable for something, at least one day a week. And I do a Back to Basics Tuesday on my blog. So you can always go find something that you probably knew, but you need a refresher on. So I think what you're doing is really, really important. So thank you for mentioning that. The one thing I want to mention to everybody here is that everything you do in your engagement has to point back to you, and not what you do, but why you do what you do. And if you're not expressing your why, and it's not obvious to the casual reader who comes across your post about why you're important and worth following, then you're missing and wasting a lot of time. So the idea is, if time is so much of the essence, use all the time you can to point back to yourself about why you're a thought leader and why people need to engage with you. And when it's you versus a competitor, you will always win, because the competitor's LinkedIn profile, that's my little world, is boring. And your profile and your persona and your brand on LinkedIn is not boring. In fact, it's stimulating, engaging, and challenging.
I love that, Marc. Steve, I'm gonna hold off on you. I'm gonna let you get the last word here. Go ahead, Sheri. All right, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm on mute.
There you go. You're good. You're
Okay.
good.
I'm going to tell you a couple fast things. So the first thing I would tell people on content, stop worrying about what people's reactions are. Make yourself come from a place of, what do you want to say with your voice, unattached to the outcome of like or whatever. That's the greatest thing I can tell you. On time, I will tell you, I do video because it's faster. It takes me 3 to 5 minutes a day. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I do not pay for editing. The only things I pay for 10 years on social media now are Canva, live stream because I started, or yard stream because I started streaming in March and didn't know how to do it before. I mean, I can broadcast on the front, but the tech stuff isn't me. And yet I'm doing it now, right? So those are the only two things I pay for. And what the biggest tip I can tell you in terms of creating a community is the faster you can respond to a comment, the faster you'll kick up the algorithms, the faster you'll kick up the love, because it's a cookie, to the person who made the comment. So what I'm doing is spending 3 to 5 minutes, that's it. In the morning, I'm a one taker on video. So whatever comes out, whether I make a verbal slip or whatever, because that's part of authenticity. And I am just popping on and off throughout the day as somebody makes a comment, that's it. And so it's like popcorn back and forth. And it has created the most amazing community for myself that I'm just so grateful for.
Me, come up. So this is a Freaky Friday message. Okay, everyone out there, we take it for granted because we use social media. But if you could pick one social media outlet that you're comfortable with and start posting on a daily basis, that's my suggestion to you.
I love that. All right, Steve, I'm going to say one thing. BizDev Live networking, great way to get on and network with folks. Come and check it out. So glad that Steve is able to bring us all together. He is the master connector. He brings us all together. Connect with this man if you have not. Go ahead, Steve, close us out.
Yeah, no, so I appreciate everyone being on the call. A lot of great content, like great value. Everybody, appreciate y'all. So I just gotta, everyone, several people touched on it, the whole busy thing, right? I find people wear busy like a badge of honor. So if you find yourself saying the word, and I might have slipped today myself, I don't remember. I like to say productive, right? And Cameron, you said it best, right? People make time for what's important to them. But you know what? We don't make time, right? We could use it in different ways. We don't make time, right? Time is there. It's taken away, right? We can only make money. We can't make time. So you got to use it wisely. And a calendar is a great way. I use my calendar. It's really, really effective for me to managing my life. And so I have different things blocked out. And, I'm almost as extreme as I'll put a calendar event for myself to go to the bathroom. Now I'm being a little exaggerating here, but that's the level of calendar management. So I would say that, and I agree with everyone else in the sense that be authentic, be yourself. Make sure you're posting things that mean something to you. And one last tip I'll give you is this: if you're not sure where to start, go find several people and see what they're doing. And if it resonates for you, if it feels good for you, he hasn't been on the show, but maybe he will be at some point. Rob Genovese is a good friend of mine, and he does a really good weekly video, and it might be more than weekly, but I looked at him. I looked at people like some of the folks on the call here, and I saw what you guys are doing, and then I kind of formulated what made sense for me. So it's got to be personal. It's got to be right. It's got to be authentic. And I also am a one take most of the time myself, except unless I'm sounding like a stuttering idiot. Then I'll just stop it and I'll redo it. But in most cases, if I stumble a little, it's the video I did today. I do a Fire Up Friday video post every week. That's my Denise, to your point, it's my commitment every week. And today I had some like image that was showing up on my screen. I was trying to swipe it away and I left it. I didn't redo the video. I just left it. So be authentic, be yourself, and that's it. So, but just in closing, again, appreciate it. The viewers, appreciate the panelists. Cameron, can't say enough how much I appreciate you, sir, because it was a privilege and honor to be on LinkedIn Live and get approved for that. I would have been lost, if it wasn't for you partnering up with me on this and co-hosting with me. So really appreciate you, sir. I highly recommend check out BizDev Live, check out the networking, like he said, and all these folks. Make sure you connect with them and go see what they're doing, learn what they are. I would recommend go ahead and do some kind of Zoom meeting with them all. So
absolutely. We lost Kerry. I think she was having trouble connecting on and everything. Guys, thank you so much. Steve, thanks for connecting us all. We got so much great comments in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody. This was such a fun time. We will see you soon.
Are we officially off?
Showing stuff. Guys, everybody, thank you so much. And we are ending broadcast now. Thank you, everybody.